Hey guys, Scott Schwartz here with Empire Home Loan Corporation. My MLS number is 225-998. My DRE number is 0107-4493. Wow, my words go.
All right, my name is Raoul Badde. I'm with PennyMac TPO. I'm a wholesale account executive and a CMB.
Cool. What's CMB stand for?
Certified Mortgage Banker. I got that through the Mortgage Bankers Association.
That's an easy process, right? Yeah. That's a nice freaking man. He's brave. He's brave. I wouldn't do that. I've been
That was a 6-hour written exam and a 1-hour oral exam, along with all of my school of mortgage banking classes. So it was a significant investment of time and financial commitment, but just as important to me, it was a function of representation, getting more education in our industry.
Yep.
How's the sausage made? And how am I representing my industry when I'm out in the field? And how am I elevating my status against my peers?
This dude's very deep. This dude is so damn deep. That program helped you. You didn't need it beforehand, but it helped you kind of make more of your core of you.
For me, the CMB was eye-opening because even just school of mortgage banking is cut into 3 parts, and the first one was all on origination, which is what I do day to day, right? So I crushed that class.
Right. Hopefully.
That was awesome. Everybody, it was so fun to sit at the front of the classroom for that one. But then you get into servicing and secondary marketing and all of the compliance elements.
The backstocky stuff.
Yeah, behind the door, and so understanding all that, understanding credit risk at a deeper level, and what goes into the thought process behind our industry was very important to me, and it was very, very valuable. So
you won't see many people that those three letters behind their name. So recognize
every year there's 40 to 50 individuals that obtain their CMB
out of the whole United States,
and the entire United States. To give you some context, the year that I got it was 2019. There was about 400,000 employees in mortgage at that time between broker, banker, and everybody. And so only 44 of us. So that's 0.01% of the industry in a given year, and that's very standard. That's very normal. There's about 2,500 now CMBs over the history that the CMB's been in place for 30 plus years now.
Wow. So today, I brought my buddy Raoul here that I'm so frustrated. You know me, Instagram drives me batty because there's so much damn clickbait on there, and it's all garbage. I mean, there's so many. I don't go there. But today I saw something on there, and I wanted to run it by my buddy here. I'm gonna get a sniff test. Here's a sniff test for you guys. So a lady comes on Instagram, says, "Hey, start buying a second home, to live in, for your whatever time." Says, "Well, you probably recognize that second homes cost." The interest rate is higher now because a lot of the federal government has done for the sausage piece, right? So they said, well, your better bet is to buy as an investment property and get a better rate. So Raoul, break it down why it's not a good idea.
Well, so occupancy fraud is never a good thing, and it's absolutely detrimental to our industry, right? We do not want to present out that way under any circumstance. And if the reality too is buying a second home is a one and done. Like once you own a single family house, you're only going to be able to buy one second home, unless you can really, really prove your case that you're buying somehow you're buying another second home somewhere. But it's not a third home. They're not called third homes. They're called second homes. So you got to understand that. But and from a pricing standpoint, the reason that second homes have gotten to be so expensive is because so many people were taking advantage of it. And the FHFA said retrospectively, like, wait a second, these are actually investors. People are buying second homes and turning them into investment properties. So we're going to penalize you up front for that. So if you want to blame anybody, you can blame all the past bad apples, essentially, that have come through, misrepresented their use of the second home. And that is a big part of the reason that the costs have gone up, because the understanding was, well, once we go back and look at those deals and peel back the layers of the onion, like, they're being rented out, they're on Airbnb, they're on VRBO. So we never want to go down that path. And so 10 out of 10 do not ever do that. is my point.
You were
But
telling me something earlier also about the Airbnbs are now sending 1099 out to you.
right, so okay, so now you buy the house as a second home, and you think you're going to sail one by the federal government. I mean, you're going to get a 1099 from your rental agency provider, and unless you can somehow figure it out, I won't get into that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, more than likely, even PayPal is going to start issuing, I think, 1099s for over $600 in PayPal receipt. That includes Venmo, their Venmo business there, and all these different firms. So, expect that the understanding is going to be presented to the IRS at some point, and you will ultimately have to deal with that. But just as importantly, don't buy a second home with the intent of renting it out.
Right.
Or
Or buying the second home as an investment property, use those rents to qualify, then turn it into the real second home that you're going to not really, just going to live
And
in.
if the reverse component, is also concerning because, the expectation is that you're going to be able to continue to repay that loan because you've been because there's presumptive market rents.
Yep.
And if you go down this path, and if too many people start to go down this path in aggregate, we will all, as an industry, get penalized and pulled backwards.
Yep.
And second homes will just go away as an option altogether. It'll be like, you don't know, you just get. I mean, that's part of why the pricing is where it is today, right? Where it's the cost benefit of a second home was that you could get essentially nearly owner-occupied financing on that property because presumptively you're carrying both payments together,
Right.
and you are, you're able to do that within the construct of the DTI that's permissions that are provided. And if you're using other tools to circumnavigate that, then that really is going to get people into trouble.
So let's say this. Let's say if somebody gets caught doing this occupancy fraud, as a lender, what happens to the loan officer? What happens to the clients from your standpoint? There's some blowback because you've done some illegal thing. Remember, this is federal, not state, not city, federal fraud.
Yeah. So the lender will call the note, has the right to call the note due.
What's that mean?
It means we can ask for our money back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of it, not piece, all of it.
All of it. We will force. We can essentially force you to sell.
Right.
But that typically, the fastest way is through a foreclosure action.
Yep.
But and even that has limitations because of the state rules that have been put in place since the GFC. But at the end of the day, that would be a mechanism, right? Nobody wants that.
No.
And as an originator,
Right.
we will go to your state licensing
Yep, there
board
you go. That's what I'm about.
and report you,
Right.
which puts your license at risk.
Yep.
And which then eliminates your ability to earn in our industry,
Yep.
which, frankly, if you're doing this, we're not going to mind it too much. We need to self-police and do that.
Yep.
But at the same time, it becomes reflective on our industry that folks have pervaded this in the first place. So we don't want to allow that to pervade,
Right.
and we want to limit that misrepresentation wherever we can. And we attempt to do that through our initial underwrite process. Given with what we know about the consumer and their habits and
And all the
everything
systems,
else.
they have to find things out.
Yes.
I was talking about another
We
video.
do our level best.
These guys got stuff, man. My last video says CA has nothing on these guys. When you look at not just PennyMac, but every lender out there, they got so many resources to pull in. But these are federal loans. It's not play. It's federal fraud. Not a good idea. So if you're going to buy a second home, who buys a second home? If you're going to buy a rental property, buy an investment property. Do not switch that around. Do not buy a house you live in as a rental property. Use a rent to qualify. Don't do something. Occupancy fraud. I mean, as far as I understand, it's gone up a lot in the last couple of years.
I imagine that it has. If you think about it, there was probably a window in time where folks figured out that there was a loophole there, and it was that sort of early onset Airbnb component where people were able to, oh wait a minute, I can buy an Airbnb and the pricing's really cheap and rates were low and all of these different things. So yeah, there's problems that we're, as an industry, we're always trying to get ahead of those problems. Unfortunately, it often doesn't get exposed until payments aren't made.
Right.
you know, and so when payments don't get made is when we look at that deal and we're like, okay, that was originated this way. Wait a minute, there was supposed to be a lease, or, you know, it's presumed that there would be a lease within a set period of time, you know, and so what does that end up influencing? It ends up influencing future opportunity in our industry. So now we get what are, you know, guideline changes that make it more difficult to obtain that. So
Now let's say this is, so let's say if a bad guy does this to, you know, someone broke onto you guys, and he goes somewhere else. How do you in the system let the system know this guy's not a good person? The borrower is a, you know, is a manipulating system, or is not something you're going to lend with.
you know, lenders have become very friendly amongst the senior leadership these days, and when consumers become bad, when we discover bad behavior, and we now with the way that the reporting is available, we are able to see like who's got an application in two places at the same time, and so we can go in there and we can call leadership at, you know, one of our counterparts, one of our peers, and just have an honest conversation. You know, we uncovered this, right? And all of us in the space are dedicated to ensuring that we aren't, you know, put into a corner like the last time we were.
Right. Well, fine.
And so we, you know, through 7 and 8, where we felt like we didn't have control as independent mortgage bankers, and so working together is part of what we do at a number of different levels, inclusive of when we uncover borrower fraud. Now we know, with the reporting that's out there, we know when, you know, borrowers have obtained multiple homes, and we can tell who the originator was because the NMLS number is attached to the deed of trust, right? And so we can really dig into the information and find bad actors a lot faster, thank God. Which is where, again, all of that came from, was because when we went through the GFC before, it was like, wait a minute, who was doing all these bad loans? And the industry was like, I actually don't really know. How do we do that? We'll put the NMLS number on the deed of trust. And that gets recorded.
What's that license? What's the MLS mean?
What's that? National Mortgage Licensing System. This is a required step that anybody that originated some mortgage loan, whether they're in a call center, if they're quoting rates and fees to you, they need to have an NMLS ID.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure we got that clear.
Absolutely.
Cool. So let's just, for any loan officer out there, how to get a hold of Raoul?
Sure. So you can find me at Raoul.Badde at pennymac.com or 415-699-0980. Last name's Badde, B-A-D-D-E, or LinkedIn.
There you go. He's on LinkedIn. He's great on LinkedIn too. Watch him there. I mean, this guy's a phenomenal resource. I mean, the CMA. Sorry, what's
CMB, sir.
Yeah, CMB. Sorry, there we go. CMA is the realtor. Sorry, CMB, right? But that's phenomenal. Know that people like this out here seriously take their job seriously. You're driving the community properly. You're not being out there. You know, I'll be here this week. Next week I'll be in used car lot, right? So you are here, long-term player. Your family knows you. Everybody knows you. So I appreciate what you're doing, brother. So give him a call, guys. Thank you much.
Thanks so much.